Okay, I'm going to read chapter 1 from Jed and Juniper and the Rome Chronicles. Jed and Juniper, the Rome Chronicles, Book 1, End of Spring, 2010, New York City. Chapter 1, Destiny Meeting, and this is written in the perspective of a man named Jed. Okay. In your life, you will have a moment that will define where your path will be split. Once you will make your next choice, make up your mind, it will be forever. This was your life, and now it's forever changed. You know that moment you will walk into a direction, you will be walking towards something or someone, and walking away from what you are leaving behind. It will either feel excruciating or simple, and it will possibly be something you can't undo. I had this moment when I met my fiancée Indra. In the Hindu, her name meant possessing drops of rain, and her cousin Juniper, who is my best friend, her name means evergreen in Latin. I walked into the coffee shop run by Indra's father, as Juniper always said, Uncle Galder, which is Icelandic for magic. This moment I was talking about that changes your life is when I first met Indra. It was like walking into a dream, feeling sunlight on your face for the first time. When I saw her, I saw sunlight shining on her long, wavy, blonde hair, which softly swished against her waist as she walked. She was one of the most beautiful women I had ever laid eyes on. Indra Nova. The only other woman as beautiful as her was Juniper. It was like they were night and day, looking at these two cousins. Juniper looked like she was straight out of a midnight painting. Black her ebony hair was black as ink, dark and glossy in the light, with her sea blue eyes that deepened in color the more you looked into them. Indra was walking towards the big cozy plush brown leather chairs and couch by the front door's tall brick fireplace, which reminded her of a cabin reminded me of a cabin at a ski lodge. On the dark wooden mantel there were tapered candles in dark purple clear candle holders. Also, a few wildflowers were in glass vases next to the candles. She looked up at my pearly green eyes with a hint of a smile in her pretty gray eyes. She was wearing a long, flowy black skirt in daisy print with an orange gypsy sheer scarf tied over top. She had on a white tank top layered over a yellow tank top, revealing both colors, and a big moonstone necklace swinging back and forth as she walked. When she sat down, softly placing her oversized yellow sunflower painted mug on the dark wooden coffee table, I didn't see that it was at that exact moment there was another man walking on his way right at me. I bumped right into a taller, blonde haired man with beachy, waved, shoulder-length hair and the same deep blue eyes as Juniper. "Ah, watch out!" he called. I hit him. I hit his right shoulder with so much force that as I hit him, it knocked me back against the door frame. I accidentally pushed him straight into one of the brown leather chairs that thankfully wasn't the one that Indra was occupying. Dad, that made my morning. Indra giggled loudly with a twinkling sound to her voice. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me buy you a drink, I replied, righting myself with sheer horror. This man laughed at me and smirked at his beautiful daughter's face. Well, I guess I'll just have to get more creamer from the truck in a few minutes. By the way, my name is Galdernova, and I'm the owner of this place. Welcome to Mystic Java. So, let me get you a drink on us for making my daughter laugh so much. Galder said this while I was looking from him to his daughter. Hi, I'm Indra. I am the mystic part of this place upstairs. I run a gypsy parlor. I am said to be a bit of a prophetess. I have a similar gift to my cousin's mother, who was presumed dead recently. Well, we don't know if she died or not really. She was never found. She disappeared with her husband and father of my cousin over there. Her mother is really famous prophetess. You might have heard of her, Sorsha Nova. By the way, I'd advise getting a vanilla iced latte with lavender, my personal favorite. She laughed, and I nodded, still embarrassed by what had happened. I noticed a Gowther motioned to the girl at the counter, who I just noticed had amazing long, black, wavy locks of hair and had deep sea blue eyes like Gowther's. Wow, everyone here looks like they just walked out of a magazine. I mean, Gowther, is it? I asked, looking in his eyes as he nodded in reply. This family looked different than any person I had ever seen. There was something about their eyes, their skin, their fluid movements. It was mesmerizing and yet unnerving. Please let me help you bring in the rest of your truck full of what I'm assuming is your stock order. It's the least I can do, I asked him as I helped Galder to his feet. This surprised him, so he was so appreciative, saying, "That would be absolutely wonderful. Thanks. That's perfect." Galder was all dressed in beachy gray cargo shorts and a big shirt that said Hang 10 with a palm tree sunset. Before I went outside to help, I looked at Indra and said, "By the way, I have totally heard of Sorsha Nova. She was on a few of the big billboards in Times Square many times. Wasn't she married to a famous chef? Oh, what was his name?" Indra looked at me and then said, "Yeah, that was my uncle Miro Dragunov. He isn't related to me by blood, just my Auntie Sorsha was. She never took her husband's last name. It has always been a tradition that the women in our family always kept the last name of Nova to honor our unique family line, but Juniper is the first woman in the family to break that tradition. She is Juniper Aisling, which means dream or vision, Dragunov. Her father insisted. Miro is of Slavic descent, with his family mostly from Bulgaria. Her father's name means celebrating peace, and his last name means dragon. My cousin over there at the counter, that's Juniper, or as we call her, June, Juneberry or June. Our family is very earthy, attuned to nature. Her parents were such amazing people and had the best parties in their huge penthouse apartment that Juniper still lives in. It is huge for just one person. Us, on the other hand, well, we own this place, and we also own the building next door, which has our three-floor brownstone apartment in Brooklyn. We usually rent out the top suite to a random stranger. It has 2 bedrooms. It is currently vacant. If you are looking for a place, maybe we can rent it out to you. If you're looking, Indra said in a hopeful yet flirty way as she looked at me through her big doe gray eyes. "Leave the man alone, baby girl. He offered to come and help me unload the coffee and dairy order in the truck. You guys can stare all lovey-dovey at each other later," Galder called out to his daughter with a knowing grin. You could tell that his daughter had definitely taken a shine to me. Was I being that obvious? I wondered to myself, turning to the direction of Galder's deep booming voice. I saw through the window that there was indeed a truck outside with an expectant truck driver waiting for the milk delivery and the other coffee items to be unloaded. I proceeded to follow my new friend Galder to the truck and spent the next 20 minutes helping him put everything away, feeling grateful to have a new job. At least I was hoping that he would hire me, since it would be highly convenient to work and live upstairs in their attic apartment. We waved goodbye to the delivery driver, and I saw myself looking back at the beautiful blonde daughter of my new boss, the lovely long-haired Indra. She had a presence, even when she didn't say anything. Indra was looking at me, then stood up and grabbed her big oversized yellow sunflower painted mug that had been empty for a while and brought it over to the coffee counter, where her cousin Juniper was stocking some paper cups in the dispenser. "Thanks, pretty lady. Do you need another one?" Juniper asked Indra, even though she already knew the answer. "Yes, please," Indra answered with a smile, turning her wrist over with an opposite hand, looking at her cheap but very cute sunflower watch. "My client will be here in 5 minutes. I can hardly wait to get started today because I am feeling so much karma and energy in the air crackling with static," she said as Juniper handed the oversized yellow sunflower painted mug back to her, fully loaded up with another drink. Vanilla iced latte with lavender, that I was surprised that I remembered what she recommended. Indra smiled, laughing softly, then looked at me. She joyfully yet longingly said, "I've got to go to work, but I'll see you later." "Okay, sure, bye," I called after her, but I suddenly felt lighter, yet filled with butterflies and excitement. I also felt awkward because now I was staring after Indra, watching her climb up the stairs that led to the library section, which went onto a platform with a few plush orange and purple chairs near a fireplace, with a wraparound metal bar at the top of either side of another small staircase that went up onto another platform that had two big wooden doors. One led outside into the apartment brownstone that Indra and her father lived, and in and the other went to Indra's parlor for her mystic work. There were ladders that were able to go back and forth on each metal bar so that you could reach the top of each bookcase. My favorite part was the two big wooden tables with chairs with soft cushions on them. A lot of people enjoyed coming to the tables to do homework or plug in their laptops to the plugins. What I began to do with one of the tables once I was living upstairs in the attic apartment with Indra was that I would set up my D&D game figurines and battle things to plan out my campaign. Indra's cousin Juniper, or as she liked to be called Junie or June, used the other table frequently to do her college homework with whatever tickled her fancy. She loved to take random classes. She would take philosophy, cooking, poetry, politics, economic, women's literature, which made her have no real major, but she loved doing it. A platform with the library section looked over the big wooden stage that was at the other end of the coffee shop. There were couches and tables in various sizes and colors of orange and purple that were turned towards the stage, where my now future father-in-law Galder had bands that played live music, open mic nights with music, poetry, and comedy, plus trivia nights. Tonight was actually open mic night, in which I was looking forward to trying out a poem that I had written for Indra, hoping to show her a little bit of romance. 7:30 p.m. was when things usually started on stage for Galder's nights, which meant I was going to pretend to help him with sound check. This consisted of me trying out the microphones while he fiddled with the soundboard, then sat at a table off to the side of the stage. When we were done, my goddess fiance came down the stairs that led down through the library, overlooking the stage, where she was coming down from her parlor. This was where she did her seer work. Indra was wearing a pink knit poncho over a cream-colored tank top and black polka dot leggings and cute baby doll shoes. Her long silk blonde beachy waves were tied up with pink and black flowered silk scarf, revealing her adorable pink tulip earrings. Her amazing gray eyes stared into my soul. I found that Indra got her gray eyes from her mother, Feather Jane Rune Nova, who passed away when Indra was just a little girl. She mostly looked like just like her father, except for her amazing gray eyes from her mother, who had brown hair. It had just been Indra and her father Galder for all of her life until I breathed into their lives. Feather was the best friend of Sorsha when Galder and Sorsha first moved to New York, and then she married Sorsha's brother Galder. To this day, I still don't know what actual descent their family came from. Galder didn't use his gifts as far as I knew, but he did have them, so Indra was blessed with gifts from both sides of her family. I'd found out about Indra's family over the past 3 years that we have been dating each other. I have never once regretted it. I literally fell into my destiny. Indra, Junie, and I were 23 years old now, and I never once looked back and said that I didn't want this glorious life. Indra was a heavenly vision that I never wanted to stop looking at. She sauntered over to me and kissed me softly, pulling herself onto my lap. I always felt drawn to her whole family. They claimed me as one of their own without question. I was sitting on one of the light purple love seat couches facing the stage, waiting on the iced coffee with coconut milk that Jill was bringing me. Jill was one of the other coffee house employees that ran the coffee counter along with June when she was here. Juniper was currently studying at the New York City Library, where she was studying French literature on Marie Antoinette. Junie had a paper due on her in a few days. I also knew she wasn't going to miss watching me humiliate myself in front of an audience, spouting off my love poem for Indra. Juniper loved to laugh at the cute couple things Indra and I did for each other, not actually being in a relationship with anyone herself. June did say she would try and get here when she was finished. I knew she would get here just in time. Her whole family seemed to be able to slip in unnoticed and get to places on time, even if they were across town or out of town. My life had never been this good ever since I found where I truly belonged. My future father-in-law Galder was just walking up to introduce himself for open mic night as my drink arrived. "Thanks, Jill, I appreciate it," I said with a big smile and a little squeeze of Indra's hand. We watched a few guitar singers playing, a few violin players, a few juggling performances, and then just as my turn was about to happen, Juniper rushed in. "Did I miss it, Jay?" Junie whispered to us, sitting down on the love seat beside me, and Indra plopping down with a thud on the big overstuffed cushions, almost knocking Indra right off my lap. "Right on time as always, Junie. You sure know how to make an entrance," I said with a wink. Jill came over to take Juniper's order, which she decided on a chocolate mocha with lots of whipped cream topping. Juniper had her long, dark, wavy black hair all pulled up into a messy bun and was wearing a navy blue pullover hoodie and dark gray yoga pants with dark brown hiking shoes. She smiled at Indra as Jill brought her drink to her a few minutes later. June and I had seen from old family pictures she had the shape of her father's almond-shaped eyes, but they were the deep sea blue of her mother's, which was the family trait. Juniper's dark black hair came from her father and his side of the family. Her father was tall and strikingly handsome, not surprising, given the beauty of Juniper. My Indra was extremely gifted with her insight into people. Juniper didn't believe one word of her family's gifts. Juniper was a bit of a skeptic, but she never really said anything about it. I hadn't quite figured out why yet. Maybe she was just a bit more skeptical of the world and didn't want the attention that always seemed to follow Indra and her missing parents. Um, I still wondered how they were dead or just missing. June didn't talk about her parents much, but all that she had ever said was that they went on a plane going to one of Sorcia's book tours to celebrate her mother's latest book that she had written and just never came home. They had been searched for but never found. "Wasn't that great, everyone?" Gelder said while clapping with everyone watching as a man bowed after he finished doing his mime act. "I'd love to have you put your hands together for a big Mystic Java welcome our own Jed Declan himself, here to share his poem for my beautiful daughter Indra. Get on up here, Jed," Gelder announced proudly, waving me to the stage. I leaned in for a kiss to Indra as she slipped off my lap, flopping down next to Juniper as I rushed my way up to the stage. "Whoa, you go, babe," Indra called after me um, as Junie cackled, whistling and laughing. I laughed, walking up to the mic, sat down on a stool, and said, "Thanks, Galder. My future father-in-law is such a guy." Hey, give him a round of applause. "Anyways, here we go," I said with a wink to my beautiful Indra. Clearing my throat, I grabbed the piece of paper out of my black hoodie pocket, wiping the sweat that was forming on my hands onto my dark jeans, and opened it up. "Shining charcoal eyes of light, you make my heart fill with delight. I never knew a soul so fair, or such golden corn silk hair. Precious time you have given me, every single day you thrill me. I am yours forevermore, and your heart I will adore. Love you, Indra." I threw my arms up and then bowed towards my fiancée Indra and blew her a kiss. There was clapping and people snapping their fingers. Juniper was giggling and raising her iced coffee towards me. "Very cute, Jay. I'm so glad I witnessed that," June said, leaning back against the love seat and taking a big sip of her drink. "I'm glad I could entertain," I said to her with a little shimmy of my body. Turning towards my beautiful Indra, she was watching me shimmy and also started to sway as well. "So, what did you think?" I asked her with a bit of self-conscious, expectant hope that she liked it, at least that it made her laugh. "Babe, it's the sweetest thing I've ever heard." She scrunched up her face and made big pouty lips at me, and little kissy sounds reaching for my hands, and pulled me towards her and kissing my lips, saying "Mwah!" with the biggest smile. I pulled her up into my arms and hugged her while we then sat down next to Juniper again, ready to watch the rest of the open mic night performances. When everything was all said and done, we all helped Jill and Galder clean up. Then it was time to call it a night. "Good night, Juneberry. See you tomorrow," Galder called out to his niece Juniper as he waved and took a few things into the back room. "Night, love. Kisses," Indra said sweetly as she hugged Juniper tightly, swinging her softly back and forth as Indra slipped her feet back into her pink fluffy slippers. Bye, Junie. Night-night. Be safe on the subway, or do you want me to call you a cab? I asked, reaching for the cordless phone for the coffee house. Oh, it's okay, Jed. I have my pepper spray. Just kidding. My cab is right there. Bye, guys, she called back to us as she opened the glass door to the street. Walking towards a cab, she got in and went into the night. That is the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2 is coming, so just wait for it. Okay.